January 30th, 2015, and I was just talking about how the different people who were interrogating me and torturing me after I had been raped and made to be completely intoxicated as an 11-year-old. And this lighting is really bad. I don't know if I can do something here. I don't know, at least you can see my face a little better. Sorry, I was just thinking about a few things that I might bring up later. But anyway, so sometimes Melinda Gates kind of looked like Carol Middleton. She could, on occasion, you know, she did her hair and make a certain way. But I think it's possible that actually Gates and a Carol Middleton was there, because there were several people coming in and out of the room. I know Mike Middleton was there. I know James Cartwright was there from the Pentagon. And I again thought, why are these Middletons so interconnected with the Pentagon people? And then I also know that one of the individuals who acted really mad at me was one of the Bob Juniors, like Bob Garrett Juniors. And, you know, one of them obviously was, you know, chaperoning me around, and I think was my dad. You know, I think I'm related to one of them, at least biologically, even if there are twins of them, or triplets. But one of them, at least, kind of came in and seemed pretty mad at me. Like almost like he was glad that some of these bad things were happening to me along with these other individuals. And that could have been something that they made him act out or not. You know, I'm not sure. But it was kind of like a vendetta against me for saying anything about Katie. I kept wondering, you know, what is this big deal? Why are they feeling so threatened? You know, a kid who's 11 says a few things about a little girl who, and really only because they were constantly attacking me and using her name as an excuse of why they were doing it. So, you know, I'm feeling a little wounded, like any kid would. And why were they so desperate? You know, it really makes you wonder why they felt I was the big threat. To, you know, I say one small thing, like kids say things about other kids all the time. You know, I don't like her, or I like him and I don't like her, and might even say reasons why. Or they could be nasty and even write up songs and be really mean. But I'm just not exactly sure what kind of justification they had, and why their motive of hatred against me was so strong. Why a couple of comments about her would drive them to do things like that to me. And, you know, it's the kind of thing that it's kind of like you just don't, at least I do not typically expect to deal with that kind of thing with adults, you know, when you're dealing with kids and adults. And anyway, since I'm in this room right now and I'm doing the this video clipping here instead of in my kitchen where I usually do them, because this is just more convenient for me right now, because as I said, I'm up and awake and then sleeping just off and on all through the night. I'm going to show you also what some of these, you know, I had mentioned at one time, this is going to be a little bit of a tangent, but I'm going to show you, I mentioned, at least in my Twitter or whatever, that I was sometimes held hostage in Coquille in this RV, and had had a generator run through a window through an electrical cord, and then the electric brace put on my head, and they also used some other things too. And we're talking about, and this is where a lot of government, U.S. government people came in and saw me being tortured, and they were all coming in to witness my being tortured and making comments about me, and then taking off and expecting to get bonuses and to get higher paying jobs just for keeping a secret about my being tortured as a girl in the United States as a citizen. And their rewards and payoffs were basically social and financial security in this group of people that tortured kids, at least tortured me, and they were making money off of me. So I'm going to show you what some of these improvising things were, and then I'm going to go back to talking about Josh Gatov and all of that. But move this keyboard over so I can bring my computer over closer to the. I'm going to point to this first, though. This right here is a window that goes straight. Directly behind this window is a barn, and that barn has electrical outlets. And they had the same kind of RV here, the exact same model and style and everything. I don't know if it's the same one, but everything was the same. And there are like little clips. The window comes down here, and then there are little clips that fasten down at the bottom, and you unlatch them, and you can run pretty much anything through that window. Right now, on the other side of it, the opaque thing that you see is a tarp that's going over the RV because it's been rainy and it was starting to leak and that kind of thing, and so that's keeping the rain out. And and then up here, to move this for a minute so you can see this right here. You see that little brown thing, and it has a screw on the top of it, and it's kind of like a leveling thing there. Well, there's one there above the window, and there's one there, and that's showing one without the screw poking up out of it. But both of them have screws, and then what happens is these valances go over this part of the window, and they stick down on top of the screws and are held in place by these screws. So you can't even tell if you go into the room and the valances are up and the curtains on and the blinds and everything, you can't see what's behind that. There are these metal objects here. And then I took them off, but right here on the sides there are aluminum posts. And I'm going to see if actually on this extension cord, you can see this one aluminum post, I think, that the lamp is clamped onto. And I'm going to try to get a better view of that. That's the metal. It's like aluminum. That's the same kind of material that that this head brace was made out of, that I was being tortured with. Well, anyway, sometimes they would take off this valance, and so they would take off the valance off of the window, and suddenly it was like 1 minute it looks like a normal bedroom, the next minute it's a torture chamber, which Sounds kind of extreme, but that's what one time they were demonstrating to some of these government officials. It was, look how we can turn this into we can improvise. Like if they don't have the electric brace, they could use cords that ran over there and attach them to these metal things that were on the sides, put one on either side of my head, and burn me with them. And then they were also using the box. They were using the actual metal head brace. They were also using clamps, like a car that you start a car with. So you know when you your car won't run and it breaks down and you have to jump start it. Well, they were clamping onto these things. They were clamping these car jumpstart car things, and so they'd have them all ready and ready to access, and they grab them, and then they'd have something on my head, and they'd attach these jump starting electrical things to my head, and then that was attached to the generator that ran out to the cord to the barn. And basically, you know, I was getting fried, and then I was tied down. I had my hands tied around the bed. Sometimes it was fastened. Sometimes it was through this, like they would connect it from here and then connect the chain to me over in the bed over here and have my arms pulled out. Other times it was connected to what you see down there over those little posts, and they would be all the way around those posts. And I did try to break free from them, but I wasn't strong enough. I mean, like, even if I tried, where was I going to go? But I did try to get out of it, and I was extremely sick. I was getting really badly tortured here. And as I said, a bunch of United States government officials were coming in and looking at me. Nathan Bechtold, the George and Janet Bechtold's older son, who's a brother of Robin Bechtold, who actually raped me. He came in, and he was one person that witnessed my being electrocuted in my bed here. There were, you know, and then he went on to become a cop for the state of Oregon. So there were a lot of individuals who had government jobs or were taking different kinds of government jobs that witnessed my being electrocuted and harmed here. Roger Harris was a Mormon and a businessman, and I'm not quite sure why he was involved, but he was someone that also witnessed things happening to me. And people like Dick Whittemore, he was showing up. There were several lawyers that were brought in here, and that was really creepy because they had so many lawyers come in to see me like that, and a couple judges, that it was pretty clear that they basically wanted to set up a little, I guess, their own little militia of lawyers and attorneys that were supposedly going to witness how I was being tortured, going to assure everyone, yeah, they were in on it, they weren't going to talk about it, and then were going to be people that others could count on and rely on to defame me, to use legally against me, and to perform any form of extortion or abuse or illegal arrest against me, and even to take my kids away from me, which is what they did. And they had to use lawyers and judges to do that. So, and whenever they needed a cover and didn't want my reports to go anywhere, they relied on these corrupt judges and lawyers to help them out with that.